Hi, friends. So, today I want to talk about a little more about overcoming resistance. And I've mentioned it before in a couple days, or in a couple of videos, I believe. But I've got a bit more to say about it this time from a slightly different angle and based upon some conversations that I had today. And I think I'll call this video Get Out There, Get Into It. These are two things that I say to myself, and that also I think I've heard other people say as well. All right. First, let's talk about get out there. Usually, I'm sweating my ass off in these videos because I've just come back from a bike ride, and it's nice. You get a little bit of an energy boost from the bike ride, and then I feel like sharing something. Sometimes when I'm biking, I'll think about what I want to say. So, I just got back from a bike ride, and some days I am in a mindset where I don't necessarily want to jump out there and get some exercise. But if I just get out there, then in about 5 minutes of being on the bike, I'm into it. Really enjoying it. And that's what I mean about resistance. For everything that's beneficial for us, and I think you can see it really clearly with working out and fitness, exercise, but also in a lot of other ways, is that there's this initial wall of resistance at the beginning of the activity. And you have to push through that wall, use a little bit of willpower and force, even sometimes anger or frustration, to go past this wall or knock it down. And then once you're in the middle of the activity, it's really enjoyable. I'm sure most of y'all have worked out at some point in your life, and you know that it takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of energy, a little bit of force to get it started. But once you've got the ball rolling, once you've overcome the initial inertia of the situation, and it feels really good. Sometimes I've been like lifting weights in the past, and yeah, sometimes in the middle of the workout it really sucks. But man, it's enjoyable too. You feel alive, right? So it's not as if pushing through the initial resistance makes it so that there is no effort involved in the activity. It's just that if you can overcome the initial resistance, then you realize that it was worth it. It was well worth it. And I guess I have a question for you and for myself too. Has there ever been a workout that you've regretted? For me, I can say there has never, ever been a workout that I've regretted. Whether it was a session in martial arts, like a jiu-jitsu class that I took, or a wrestling session, or lifting weights, cycling, calisthenics, doesn't matter. Any workout in a running, I used to run cross country back in the day, there's never been a workout that I regretted. I always felt better in the middle and at the end of the workout than I did going into it. It's always a net gain. It's always a net positive. And that's what makes resistance, in my opinion, one of the three most evil demons in human experience. Resistance is such a limiting thing for us. And if we can identify it and expect that it will be there, then we can deal with it more effectively. If you know that before you start or in the beginning of any activity, there is going to be this specter, this demon that you have to do battle with in order to actually get into the experience, then the whole process just makes so much more sense, and it allows for you to reap the benefits of those things instead of succumbing to resistance. Now, I call resistance a demon because succumbing to resistance on a regular basis can destroy your life. It's almost like there's a miasma or truly negative force in your life. And so I think calling it a demon or even thinking of it as a demon is the way to go. All right. So, for more examples, what made me think about talking about this today was a conversation I had with my mother on the phone. So, I try to be as good a son as possible. And one of the things I do to try to do that is to make sure I talk to my mom on the phone often, at least once a week. And although I live far away, you got to maintain that connection. Anyway, today when we were talking on the phone, I was encouraging my mom to get outside and to go walking, to take a long walk, as much as she could, every day. And the specific reason that I was encouraging her to do that is she has a trip coming up where she's going to go to an exotic land. And in said exotic land, there's going to be a lot of hiking. And before the trip really gets started, they fly into a place that's fairly high elevation, and they sort of acclimate to the thinner air. And then as the trip goes on, they go to progressively more remote areas. And the last area they go to is quite high up there on the mountains. And it's just known that not everyone who goes on this trip, this specific trip, makes it to the last location because it's somewhat strenuous. And if you're my mom's age, she's a boomer, so she's past her middle age, let's say. And it's going to be strenuous for a lot of them. And she's known about this trip for a long time. And it's just the consistent walking every day that will put her in a state where she really can enjoy this trip to its fullest. And the only thing that she has to overcome is resistance. Because just like I said, I've never regretted a workout. She never regrets going for a walk. She knows that it's going to bring her big benefits and it's really going to make her life more enjoyable. And her fitness isn't such that she could like run or jog or bicycle, but we do what we can. And from that place where we can build to all kinds of great places. But for her, it's just that resistance. Oh, I don't want to do it. And you can ask yourself, who is this I who doesn't want to do things? And I would say that it's not you who doesn't want to do it. It's resistance that wants you to not do it. And so that's why I call it a demon. If you can just get out there, I say this to myself a lot of times before I go on a bike ride. I'm just going to get out there. And I jump on the bike and I bike like 3 times longer than I intended. Put a lot of effort into it. Whereas if I said like, oh, this is going to be a strenuous bike ride, I really got to, plan it out or something. No, just no analysis by paralysis. Just get out there, make it happen, and it becomes enjoyable within 5 minutes. That's what I've found. And then, of course, the other side, as is probably obvious, getting into it. It's just good to know that once you're in the middle of an activity, you already start reaping the benefits. In the middle of a bike ride, in the middle of a workout, the feeling of aliveness, the vitality of the activity comes to you. And it's no longer, you've defeated resistance. It's no longer, could be perceived as a negative in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, let me know if that resonates with you. If you've used similar strategies, or if you've noticed the same thing, the same sort of process or flow in your physical activities. And I hope this video has been helpful. I also hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon.